No, we're here.
Yeah, we're here. We are now live. Just now. Just a second. Hello, everybody. And
Oh my
I'm gonna
god.
do my things where I uh spend a minute. Spend a minute.
Spend a minute.
Spend a minute advertising us.
They've forgotten we exist. That's
It's
why they've
possible. It's been a while.
forgotten.
I've been doing
It's been like
leagues. I've
what,
been doing
4
other things. Yeah,
weeks?
it's been a while.
Because I went to Cambridge,
You did.
and then something else happened. It's been a long time. I don't even recognize you, Dave.
No one really recognizes me. It's okay. I'm
The man with the unrecognizable face. That would be a useful
not very
skill.
well known in the world. Let me get my okay. I'm just typing up our.
He's doing his concentrating face. I can start by telling you about my absolutely terrible day a week on Friday.
What
It was a
happened?
really bad day. Oh my god. Right. So everything was busy because, of course, we'd made the announcement. So I'm busy. I'm trying to communicate with Jen because we got the other announcements coming out, or one of which has already happened. Was it yesterday or two? A couple of days ago? I can't even remember anymore. So I'm already pretty stressed out. Anyway, so this is really like a total non-story. So yeah, people can just fast forward if they're on the demand. But I go to Wetherspoons for breakfast because I've got the dentist before. And so I was like, well, I'm not going home and then back into town just for the dentist. I'll just stop in Wetherspoons and have a breakfast. But like, I guess my card had expired. So when I tried to order on the app, it was like, oh, your card's expired. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I better, put it through again with a card that hasn't expired. But I'm going to warn you now, if you ever go to Wetherspoons has apparently a bug in its app that if it rejects your payment and you try to make the payment again, it doubles up your order. Now, having to sit in Wetherspoons at like 8:30 in the morning is already a really tragic experience to have. So then I have to sit
Yeah.
there in the corner of Wetherspoons with two fucking breakfasts. Two breakfasts. And
Two
like the lady comes up
breakfasts.
and the lady comes up and like puts it down on the table. I'm like, oh, my friend is coming. They should be here soon. I can't imagine what's happened. I want to tell people like I accidentally ordered two breakfasts, and then I ate them. I ate both of the
Wait, you ate
breakfasts.
both of the
I
breakfasts?
mean, they're quite small breakfasts. Like it's not. It's more like a muffin. Like those like egg muffins you get at McDonald's. But I ate both of them. So I'm already in a very fragile state at this point. I had to
I
call
can't.
Jen. So I called Jen to discuss the announcements, and it's a 40-minute call. Like, I know Jen's located in Japan. I'm not a moron. But I thought I was using FaceTime audio, which of course would just be on my data allowance and therefore would
Oh
cost me no
no.
money to call Japan. I did not realize that I had pressed the phone. And so I had made an international call for 40 minutes
Oh, I
to
did that
Japan.
once from your house.
Oh my god, apparently there's some sort of vibe in Tavistock that makes you make accidental international calls. £3 a fucking minute. £3 a
Yeah.
minute. And like, I mean, I'm lucky I had to go to the dentist. Otherwise, I could have spoken for another hour to her. So yeah, I made this 120 quid phone call.
Well,
Um,
Jen's
and
company is worth its weight in gold.
I mean, I like her a lot. I just
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're worth. I
That's
just
not-
don't know if you're worth £120 for 30 minutes, mate. I love you, but you might not be worth that much to me. Sorry. So yeah, and so then I go to the dentist, and I hadn't realised what I'd
Oh,
done, and then I paid £90 to have my teeth cleaned for 15 fucking minutes. I come out and I get these messages on my phone, and my phone's like going. Company's like, oh, we noticed you spent over 50 quid this month. That's unusual for you. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, if I'd have known I needed to make an international call, it would have cost me £6 for the entire call. I'd have just got like the package added on. So I'm livid. Like, I'm really mad because I'm like, you tell me an hour after the call is made that I might be overspending. An hour after call, like, not okay. So then, Gemma being Gemma, already on a super busy day, I thought like the best way to handle this was to have an argument with Vodafone. So after then wasting 40 minutes trying to get past their fucking AI chatbot to speak to someone who can actually do something, I then get to speak to someone. And then I'm like, look, I know you can't do what I need. Can you just put me through to your manager? And of
Yeah,
course, we
like
have to go to the
please just
kiosk.
let me jump the line right to where I need to go, or at least not like jump the line, but just make it
Yeah,
easy
like
for everyone.
I don't think I'm special. However, I do think that allowing people to make international calls with zero warning and then having the gall to send me a text message an hour after I made the international call is not okay.
Well, that's so. I remember now exactly what happened that left me so infuriated.
Hmm.
So one of the things that they have us do that I do is you leave your phone set to be able to make calls over data.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so my phone was set to make a call over data, and I was hanging out, and I had to call British Airways
Yeah.
because my flight had been shenanigans with in some way. And so I'm
Hmm.
standing there. I remember standing there in your house,
Hmm.
and you were like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Hmm.
And and I was like, "Well, I'm on the phone with British Airways. Doesn't that make sense?" So I called British Airways, and I
Hmm.
was on hold with them, and I did the whole thing. And then at the end, I'm like, "Okay, do." And then I got billed a bazillion freaking dollars for the call because what my phone had done, what they allowed my phone to do, was say,
Hmm.
"Oh, well, here's Dave. He's on Wi-Fi, and he's going to make his call over Wi-Fi because that's the right thing to do." And when you
Hmm.
do that, the call goes into Gemma's Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
across the Atlantic Ocean to the United States, and then calls the UK number from the United States.
No.
So I had to pay for a reverse Wi-Fi international back to where I actually was phone call.
Okay. Yours is way worse than mine.
I don't remember whether I do remember complaining very aggressively about this.
Yeah. So, well, I complained aggressively, and then for the 2 hours of my complaining, they gave me a £5 voucher in the local supermarket.
Ooh,
So, I
did you
wish I
get a nice
hadn't wasted.
cheese?
I wish I nice cheese for five
Nice
pounds,
cheese.
crappy cheese. But like, I just wish I hadn't even bothered arguing with them. But I just like if you're gonna send warning messages, send them
Yeah,
promptly.
like at the beginning, like, hey, you're doing a thing. Are you
Yeah.
sure you want to be doing the thing? And then I can just be like, ah, shut up, yes, and then I can feel dumb.
I'm like, it should just warn you. Just send a text message that you've connected internationally.
Yeah, hey, you just did that. Are you sure you want to do that? I mean, there's got to be some. It's tough because I bet people would get really annoyed. I bet some people who do it all the time would just get to the point where like, oh my god, I'm so mad.
Right, but
I don't know.
if you bought the package, then it doesn't need to tell you.
Yeah,
It
I
was
gotta.
my first call ever making internationally like that. I don't know.
It's it's
So that
gross.
that was my bad day. And I've got a £5 Morrison's voucher on 2 Weatherspoons breakfasts. Maybe I should have complained to Weatherspoons. Probably had more luck. I was too embarrassed though. I was too
Dear
embarrassed.
Weatherspoons, I can't believe you've done this. I can't believe you've done this. How could this
Well,
be?
it's been a busy couple of weeks, Dave.
It's been a really busy couple of weeks. We've been gone
So,
for a while.
sorry, I'm
Um,
eating,
I can't believe you're doing. It's
and I'm so hungry.
very rude to our stream audience. They
No,
sacrifice everything to be here.
people pay extra to watch people eat
Is that true?
on Twitch for sure.
Hmm, I could see that.
Yeah.
So let's see what's been going on. We got stuff we can talk about, stuff people can
Hmm.
ask us questions about. Um,
What's the most exciting news you think's happened so far?
trying to think. I don't know. I heard something about some kind of test, some kind of thing you could
Uh,
do to get like a cool logo by your name.
did you watch
In
the video of me announcing it?
I did watch the video
When did I sound so English?
the whole time,
Is that
just
how I've
from the
always
beginning
sounded? Oh my God. I
to the
listen back
end.
and I'm like, wow, this is why Dave mocks my accent. I do sound ridiculous.
You sound very, very not American, and that's fine. I'm not for those of you who aren't American. I love not Americans and everyone, but
I think the problem is you always imagine yourself with like a generic voice. Like, I don't know what that generic voice was, but it certainly in my head wasn't as British as it came out, apparently.
I don't. I can tell because I shift slightly between different like
Hmm.
variants of local accent depending on what I'm doing, and I can usually tell when I'm doing it. Like I'm as I'm speaking, I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
sure I'm doing that. Like, all right, but
No. yeah, so we got the pro organization announced.
Yeah,
That's
we
happening.
have a pro organization
Finally,
announced
finally,
after
after
all
how
this
many
time.
years?
Yeah, after a long time.
I
Which
mean,
is
why
super,
now?
super
That's a
cool.
good
Super exciting.
question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Let's talk. Let's talk. You're
I'm
the
ask
person to
myself
talk about it.
questions.
I want to hear. I want to know.
No, I think honestly, I think we'd done it earlier if it hadn't been for WRC, the event, because each of those events has been torturous. You know, the first one obviously is torturous for the reasons it's torturous, and no one knows what's going to happen.
Hmm.
Like, we'd not have talked about a professional organisation back in 2013 for non-Japanese. It just wouldn't have been even on the agenda.
For many reasons, but no, I don't think that would have been something we talked about at all. Because, like, I mean, the player base wasn't there.
No.
Frankly, the level wasn't there. Sorry, everyone. I was there too. I was in that time period and not at that level. Like, it's not like not.
Dave was there reducing the player level.
Oh yeah, I was definitely bringing the average down. Just to be clear, I'm not trying to sound like snooty.
So of course, you know, and then after 2014, the focus really was on, can we keep this momentum going? Because, you know, these types of events you often have at the first one, right? And then the energy's lost because it's no longer new and unique. So then the focus really shifted to, right, okay, we've got to make sure there's a second one. Like, if there's a second one, we're a thing, right?
Right. So now we're focused on let's make the next one happen, which that I know a lot about.
Dave was
and I
there.
would agree. That was torturous. It was fun, and I'm glad it happened, and it was very painful to do. But I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, because even though we'd had a first one, the shift between the first and the second one was large. Like, the French did a great job for the first one, but then
the size, we doubled the size, and that wasn't me personally. That was
No.
organization. Like, we decided to make it much bigger, which already brings a new world of challenges for anyone running an event.
Exactly. And we were trying to, you know, the French had the really nice town hall and stuff, but we were trying to engage with like actual like convention halls and trying to get our heads around, what does this mean?
Yeah.
How do we run a budget for this?
Being an organizer, it was a whole world of.
How do we get sets in? Where do the tables come from? Right. And, you know, I think it gets easier the more experience you have at it, but certainly, yeah. Again, back to catering. I hate talking about catering. Awful. Making sure that the Japanese professionals turn up again, you know? Anyway, so we did that one, and that was great. And then I thought,
I love that retroactively I can now be like, yeah, it was great.
I mean, there was that big gun massacre the eve of the the eve before of the eve of the event. So then, of course, I had to have about 12 months of trauma counselling after holding the second one, as I'm sure Dave needed therapy as well. Like, I just remember after that, I'm like, I'm not even talking about it. I can't be dealing with this anymore.
There's always a great fall on your face and lay on the ground period after one of those big things.
Because you're in it, you can't see the things that went really well.
Yeah.
All you obsess about is the things that went wrong and how you could have stopped them and how you didn't stop them and what should have been done better and blah, blah, blah.
It took a while. It took a while for me to be able to see the good stuff. And people told me, like I want to be very fair to everyone. Like, people were telling me, hey, this was good. Hey, this went well. And it took a while personally for me to be able to, like, take that in and accept it. But people had a good time. But I think the core thing we're saying here is, like, all these things, like, they're exhausting and they take your time and focus and they're a lot. And I think that's a big part of why a pro certification is not something that has been really forthcoming.
I then started doing the work in, you know, partly through the crash course, right? That was partly what the crash course was for me, was to sort of understand what sort of lectures could we expect from Japanese professionals. How well would they translate? What would work? What wouldn't? And so crash course was kind of me wanting to understand what would a educational program for people who are taken to the next level look like. And we started sort of doing that legwork, start the conversations. And then, of course, 2020 happened. Because I remember saying I really wanted to organize I really wanted to launch the pro organization at the Vienna event. I was like, event number 3, that's a good event to say, we're moving forward. This is ramping up. And then, hi, Carol. And then, of course, 2020 happened and COVID. Just, again, not to frame everything in my life through whichever WRC event's been organized at that point in time, but definitely the stress levels of having signed this contract and not knowing what it meant, having to postpone. We had people's money as well. Anyway, so finally we got that through. 2022 happened, and then we had to said the sort of wind down period of, oh my God, like I never want to be running around dropping off COVID kits to people's hotel rooms ever again.
Let's never do that again. I mean, some of these things, again, like I think it's a couple things. It's the timing. It's not having it's having like, yeah, the next big event is in Japan, and that means a lot of the weight is being held by organizations in Japan, which is weight off of our shoulders, which is good. And I think it's true that like the overall growth of the player base, the overall growth of skill level, like means that something like this is much more like viable. It's not like, oh, what are we going to do? Find like the 2 or 3 people, who can and will do it. I think there's a broader base, and there's more people out there who can be part of it and who can be interested in being a part of it.
And I think as well, like COVID has sort of changed our attitude to more sort of bringing typically offline activities online. And I think having a hybrid group where some of the stuff is offline, some of the stuff is online is just easier to do now.
Yeah.
Because of COVID. Like before, it was, unfathomable to me that we would do some of this stuff. I mean, that's why Crash Course was offline, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, that sort of attitude has changed entirely. And I'm like, well, now I have to justify doing it offline rather than having to justify doing it online. That's the sort of change in the world that has happened, which has now made it even easier to make sure we can get this out to the widest scope of people, which means that, it's all very well and good. Okay, I'm going to open up for people who live in London and New York. But that's a very small group of people, right? And out of that small group of people, an even smaller group of people are going to want to become professionals. Whereas now I can open up to a much larger group of people. And therefore, the small group of people who want to be professionals will probably still be fairly small, but it will be larger than just if we were holding it in 2 cities.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Like the standardization, the improvement of tools for online stuff has been a huge like increase in communication and what people can do. I think that's a big deal. There's a lot of different things. It feels like a lot of things are kind of coming together to make this something that can be done. And it's a little frustrating right now because we're like so close. Like I feel like there's a set of details that are going to be solidified in the next like 2 or 3 days, if I'm remembering properly.
There's more stuff coming through the pipeline, that's for sure.
Yeah. So there's some stuff we can't officially announce yet. That we're waiting to do because again, in the next like 2 or 3 days, we're going to be seeing.
What I can say is I'm hoping, not in the next 2 or 3 days, this is more like a week or 2 weeks. I'm hoping I can publish a schedule for the Americans there, a schedule of what pro activities will be available for you.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the question that people really want to know. Okay, well, I'm going to pay a monthly subscription. What do I get? Because it's not the same as Japan, right? You'd pay your league fees, which are very high, by the way. I'm not sure. Well, 10,000 yen. I'm not sure what that is in modern terms, but
that's $100. Well, no, wait,
it's probably
like
not $100 anymore, right? That's why
Let me see how that's doing. I got to get ready for my trip.
But so it's let's put it back to the times before the crazy happened.
$63.
That's just insane. Anyway, let's pretend it's where the normal has been for the last 10 years, and it's $100, right? But with that $100, they attend a monthly league session, and then really it's more like a chartered accountancy kind of certificate, right? Because you have that, you can then go and get other paid work, right?
Yes.
You then have eligibility to participate in other things. So even though the person collecting your 10,000 yen is not actively giving you that, it still gives you value. And that's a challenge for outside of Japan, because although in the future, I hope that if you were certified as a professional, that would give you the ability to make money. That's obviously not the case at the moment.
That's one of the interesting challenges, right? It's like, because what's it called? And it's something I've spoken with people about that they've asked things also about issues of like, does having a pro certification like restrict what you can do and stuff like that? And I was kind of like, okay, well, the challenge here is like within Japan, being a pro is being like a media figure of some stature.
Yeah.
And as you say, like that opens doors for you, that gives you things and opportunities that you might not have otherwise. Offer, I mean, obviously, like we're very happy, I would imagine, to promote our pro players. If
Hmm.
if media folks are like, oh, we want a mahjong player to talk about something or do something, like great, cool. Are
Hmm.
those opportunities happening on the regular? Like, let's not lie. No, not right now. They are not happening on the
Hmm.
regular. So there's not much like I'm going to call it like organic opportunity, like things that just
Yeah.
pop up
Yeah.
that gets harvested out of having a pro certification outside of Japan.
No.
Again, let's imagine a world where there's lots more of that, but right now that's not the case. So we do
Hmm.
have to work to make sure that we have like fixed, real opportunities that we directly offer to make it
Hmm.
worthwhile.
Yeah, so that people know that, okay, I'm going to spend this. This is my expectation, and they can make their own assessment if that's worth it for them,
Yeah,
right? It's not going to be $100 a month, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there right now. It's gonna be nowhere near $100 a month. I couldn't justify charging that amount. Um,
hmm.
but yeah, that's the challenge, and you know,
But all right.
I think the challenge that's been interesting is when I say to Japan, well, you know, I think when we get pros in, they're going to want to still get training. And they're like, but why? They're already good. I'm like, that's not, that when they do their sort of training and education, they organize themselves into small like study groups, right?
Right.
It's not organized by the professional organization. Like they're very much sort of self-learning, working out how to improve themselves. I don't think that structure would work well for us personally.
No, I don't. I agree. I think that like
Partly the geography, right?
well,
You
it's a
could.
few things. I think one of the challenges that we have
Hmm.
in terms of doing this is that we're building something new.
Hmm.
And in building something new,
Mhm.
we need to build that culture. Like it is very
Mhm.
possible that 20 years into this, like
Mhm.
we have a large group of people and they do all self-organize into little study groups because everyone knows when you get in, that's what you do and that's how you get better,
Mm.
blah, 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 blah. Because within the organization, that will be a culture we have built. And to
Mm.
build that culture, we provide a framework. We say, okay, now we're
Mm.
going to do study sessions. We're going to set these up. We're going to make it clear that part of being in this is participating in these things.
Mm.
And yeah, maybe later as everyone's very happy running their own little study sessions and they don't
Yeah.
necessarily need centrally managed ones, we can say, okay, well, you guys are doing great. This is awesome. But yeah,
I
I think
think,
I think the framework is
yeah,
really important.
exactly. And in the end, there are high amounts of skill in Japan that we don't have outside Japan yet. Um, I always say that quite a few of our regular viewers are probably at that skill level, maybe. But it's not just that skill level; it's also that confidence to teach it as well.
Yeah.
Um, so having that kind of interaction with pros from Japan, I think, is kind of important because then you can get a feel for what the culture is over there and how they've managed to reach their high skill points.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
building.
So Chirag, yeah. So Carol set up the Janken Ron League for the UK, and he hoped that that would foster study groups, and I don't think that's happened. Yeah. I think I think it's really difficult for people to do that without direction. I, I don't know. I'd like to say. I mean, it's not. I agree with you. Maybe I should have done more in that respect, but the other problem I always have is I look at people's play and I'd really like to have comments on them, but unless they invite me in, I can't. And have you ever noticed sometimes when you're in a Discord group and you post like a something up to be discussed, you get multiple views thrown at you, and it's very difficult to kind of pick through to decide which views are valid or credible. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably this is probably something to be learned. Is like, yeah, how do you? I mean, it's interesting you say that. I think there's a lot of different attitudes here, and people.
hmm,
I cannot lift my chair. Good lord! I
hmm,
wanted to lift my chair up, and it won't go. I'm actually a little worried about this. My poor is the gas cylinder in my chair just dead?
hmm,
Anyway,
hmm,
um, a lot of people feel really personal about their play, and
hmm,
they don't want people immediately like jumping on them, being like, "Oh,
hmm,
you should do this. Oh, you should do that. Oh, you should go that way." And like, I can respect that.
hmm,
And so yeah, it's a little frustrating when people like jump in immediately, and people
hmm.
aren't comfortable with it. Um,
But I guess I'm hoping that, yeah, in the pro organization, we're going to be a little bit more open to each other, giving
mm,
feedback about our play. And part of that's going to be, well, how is the right way to give feedback? Because someone gave me feedback at an event once, I just finished the hand and they came in and they started shouting how shouldn't have reached. It didn't go down well for me. Yeah, I don't know. Like it is difficult. It is difficult, but I mean, I'm hoping that we can get a pro group where people are open to learning, open to listening to other people. But then also, if you have that certification, you'll have the confidence to be able for people to be able to ask you, oh, what do you think? You must have some credibility. You've got the certification, and for you to have the confidence to use that certification. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I think having the logs handy is
Mm.
really nice.
Yeah.
I think like frankly, one of the things I'm going to write down for myself is idea to remember is like giving people the ability to catalog, tag, and sort game
Mm.
logs according to how they might want to
Mm.
would be a really useful tool.
Mm.
Um, because then yeah, then people can like keep track of these things exactly, like look up exactly what happened, exactly when it happened, things like that.
Mm.
I think that's actually a really cool idea. But
But yeah, so that's the sort of direction we're taking with the professional group. I don't know if anyone has any questions. That free to throw them at me. I'm not sort of holding back the information.
no, this is a great opportunity to ask any questions folks might have about it. We probably should do
Mm.
a more thorough Q&A session for people, like a more
Yeah.
public one.
That some of the
But
stuff I'm a little bit like because I want people to be able to put in, like if you're going to be joining as a first cohort, like I think there's always going to be this expectation that you're also going to be steering the direction of this, right? It's not just going to be Gemma on high deciding.
how do we teach
Yeah,
teaching skills? That's a
teaching
good
a
one.
skill its own right. Yeah.
My first easy answer is please come work for me. Come to a convention and teach people. I think this is more basic teaching skills, to be fair, as opposed to like straight up elevating existing game. But
Mm.
I will say it has been a huge benefit
Yeah.
for people who've done it to come and sit and teach people to play again and again and again. Just
Yeah.
practice at teaching. And the nice
Mhm.
thing about doing it at something like a convention is that you're
Mm.
teaching strangers every time. And if you do
Mm.
terribly, then one group of strangers maybe had a not so great time. And then it seems to me, oh well. Fortunately, here in America, we don't have to offer you any benefits whatsoever.
He does
Uh,
buy pizza.
I do buy pizza and
He bought me a
sandwiches.
lovely pizza last time I redesigned his studio.
It's true.
Hmm.
That's good pizza.
Oh,
But
but you bought me Taco Bell that one time, and I was not hot for that. That was You
I can't
shouldn't
believe
be
you
able
bought
to
Taco
drink your food.
Bell. Anyway, anyway, despite this slander, um, no, I think just generally like doing it. Practice is really the best way to get better at
Hmm.
teaching, in my opinion. You just do it. You just do it and do it and do it and do it. And I think
But
that. No, go ahead.
oh no, I just like I just think crash course. Like it's more like I'm hoping that by seeing Japanese professionals teach us, we can pick up some of those teaching skills, right? Because we don't have a
Mhm.
framework in our heads, as you said, like of how to teach. I have a framework now because I've been to your conventions of how to teach to total beginners. When it comes to like intermediate people, that's where I start to struggle. Like
Mm.
how do I structure this? Because it's difficult to structure all the thoughts you have, especially on the mahjong table, right?
I think it's difficult. I think again, there's multiple levels of talking about it because one is the first step is like engagement. Like how do you get that conversation going in a way
Mm,
that the person is going to feel comfortable with?
yeah.
Because yeah, are they comfortable talking about it? Sometimes people just don't want to talk about it. If they do, how do you talk to them about it in a way that is going to be received by them as positive input as opposed to as
Mm,
criticism or as embarrassment? Like there are some people I can just, I've known them for a long time. I can just point at me like that was wrong. I can say to them that was wrong. You should have
mm,
done that. And like they understand that it's not an indictment of them as a person, that I don't hate
mm,
them, that I don't think they're stupid, that I'm just being very blunt about what I think they should do, and that it's just my opinion and not
mhm,
necessarily like the right answer. I
mhm,
wouldn't talk that way to someone I didn't know very well because that can come off, very mean, very negative, very not okay. So
mm,
it's like building those soft skills to be like, how do I actually say this? And I've seen people engage other people like that,
mm,
and it's like I can tell that this is someone who, and a lot of times, frankly, I'll be super super blunt. Sorry, everyone. I'm going to be not very very indirect. Frankly, a lot of times these are people who are very very hype about mahjong stats or very very hype about
mm,
very digital play, and so they'll jump in, and I can tell by looking at them, and I can tell by their attitude that they are jumping in because they're excited and because they want to
Mm-hmm.
share something, and there's not negativity coming from them. Like they're not
Mm.
trying to dunk on someone or be mean or even show off that they know stuff. They're trying to be helpful, but the way they engage is, oh, you should never do this because that's wrong, and you should do this because
Mm.
that's right. And I looked at Naga and I said you should always do that. And again, they're sharing stuff that they think is correct, and I want to be clear in saying that I feel like they're trying to be positive. They want to share from their side. They're taking it
Yeah.
positively. But for a
Yeah.
lot of people, that comes off as like someone who knows a lot more than me about this is now telling me that what I did is wrong, and it can be very discouraging for people. So I think
Yeah.
like finding a way to
Yeah.
navigate that is important.
I think, in Japan, there's a lot of complaints about people going, yeah, but Naga says this and Naga says that. And, Naga's really good. However, it's really good in a specific context. And and maybe at one point it will be able to really kind of delve into the psychology of what's going on the table, but it can't.
I
It's a
mean,
machine reader.
Naga
Sure.
Naga is one great perspective.
Yes, it's another perspective for sure. It's
So
not. It's a great
there's a
tool.
compliment for Gemma in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Zaps.
Says Gemma, your interface
Um,
between the pros and the attendees was clear that your role was a crucial factor in
yeah,
ensuring the pros' advice was heard and
that's
accepted.
good. I think, do you know what, like, and this is not a mahjong specific problem. I think any time you throw Japanese or Chinese or Korean educators in with typical Western pupils, it can be a little bit of a challenge. Like what Westerners expect they can do and should do to show they're engaging in a lesson is often quite different to what you would do in an Asian classroom. I say this having gone through the fires of a Taiwanese university, a mainland Chinese university, and a Japanese university. That was
Why'd you
a
go to
hard
all
and
these?
steep learning.
Don't people usually pick one?
I could not decide how to stop my education, so I just kept going until one day someone called me and like, "Do you want a job?"
You have to leave.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'll get a job then. I guess I'll stop doing this."
So slight tangent. I think you have to buy a replacement gas cylinder for a chair after so many years. I think I have to actually repair my
Yeah, I
chair.
think you do. Yeah,
It's
yeah. So
crazy.
I like to put streaming. I do think that streaming does to a bit if you're talking out loud. I certainly felt when I was streaming all that time ago now. My mahjong actually was getting better because you had to be more accountable, right? And now I can't just swear and throw my mouse across the room, and not that I'd ever do that, but yeah, yeah.
Well, being watched. I think being watched means that you're not going to just do the worst, the silliest things.
Really, but that, you know what? When I'm in tournaments, that I get worse. When I know someone's watching me, like, yeah, especially if I know it's someone who's like super digital, I'll do the most shitty things to upset them, especially if Danny's watching. Danny's like super, he really likes the stats, like, oh, this is the best way. Oh, this is and I'm like, yeah, but what if I just did this? And then he gets even more upset if I win. And then oh, I love it. Sorry. So, yeah.
I
I just like upsetting hyper digital players. Danny's a really good player, by the way.
That's
Really, really good player.
unfair. That's unfair. I like that a little bit, but but hyper digital players aren't wrong.
No, of course they're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
Of course they're not wrong. But like the problem is like sometimes the data they're using is just reflecting the meta from where they pulled that data, right? And the way to really win is to play slightly differently. How you play slightly differently to do the winning is difficult.
The
That's
thing
a
that
difficult
people
one.
don't see in there is that like if everyone plays to the meta, you can exploit the meta play, even if the meta is like being statistically perfect. But I don't want to drift too far. Essentially, there's a lot of things that are weird about streaming. I tried streaming alone; it was really really weird.
Right. See, I started streaming alone because obviously no one watches you at the beginning, and I was just sat there talking to myself. Which, yeah. Do you know what? I'm the sort of person who terrified of leaving the headphones at home because you have to hear her own thoughts. So, yeah. Anyway, so the other thing we organised, we announced, was the World Reachy Online Team League event.
Yes,
which
WROTL, the Rottle.
I know.
The Rottle, WROTL.
Didn't think about that. Didn't think about that.
I'm hearing that
fully, did I?
Good.
We have some great teams coming from the professional side, though. Some really, really good teams.
I'm going to see if I can put
and all
together
that
a team.
jazz.
I want people on a team.
Dave, you've got to have a team. I'm sorry.
What do you mean I got to have a team?
It's not an option for you. You have to have a team.
I guess.
You do. So the format's super flexible, right? So every Saturday, a tournament window open. Don't ask me what time it is on your time. I can look at maybe I would put it on the page. But it's probably wrong as well. Like I hate doing
Everyone should be repping Michael. Everyone should be there and doing things.
Let me look at the tournament window opens 2:00 UTC every single Saturday between July
UTC.
and October.
Upset.
So that is
time central.
10:00 Eastern Standard Time, and it's open for 4 hours.
Okay.
And you can play games. You can play starting at 10. You can play starting at 12. Whatever, it's fine. You just have to play 20 games over that 4-month period. It's very flexible. It's got to be Dave's darlings.
The problem is Dave's darlings. The problem is it's just right during the stream. I can't be sitting on this stream just playing my. Well, I guess if it's a team. Now, how many members of the team can play at once? That's the other question. So is it just one of us?
All members can play at the same time. It's not scheduled.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there were earlier cuts of this that I was remembering.
There were earlier cuts of it. It is completely flexible. You can play on your schedule. You just have to make sure you play 20 games. And every member of your team also has to play their 20 games to be ranked.
Okay.
Yeah. So as Dave revealed, we flirted with some more structured formats before we arrived at this one. In the end, we've partly arrived at this one because there were some tech issues that we couldn't quite resolve. Well, we could, but there were just super manual ways to do it. And, at some point, the poor people at Run want to sleep. Although I have to say, part of the reason that the professionals are so hyped for it is it's a perfect time of day for them. They've already been kicked out of the Jansel. These people don't sleep at normal hours. They're always up late. They're always awake late into the night. I think it's a bit of a Japan thing anyway. You often stay up later. And anyway, so where was I going with this? I've forgotten. Anyway, yes, team members can't play each other. So each member of the team will have they'll be assigned a lobby that they can go into.
Oh, I see. So
and then we'll mix those up we'll mix them up every now and then so that you'll get a new batch of players to play against, but you won't be able to play against a team member. Yeah.
Oh, boo! I like my team members. I want to play Mahjong with them.
So we did think about. So and then the other problem with the more structured thing was, what do we do if someone doesn't turn up? Like, now, obviously, that happens in the leagues that people run in their country discords all the time, and you get someone to jump in, or you try and contact that person, right? It's not really viable for the number of people we're looking at. I think we said that. I think someone threatened me, like 100 Japanese professionals might be interested in playing.
That's a lot.
Just the sheer numbers, it starts to become, well, okay, it's okay if you're chasing one person who hasn't shown up, but what if you're chasing 5 people who haven't shown up? Then it's a real. It becomes like a real logistical challenge. So that's why we've kind of plumped for this really flexible format, which has its pros and has its cons, just like a more structured sort of, well, you have to play this person at this day would have had its pros and cons. So yeah, I mean, we don't these things, we don't just make up them and then just write them down and launch them. This went through, I think, 6 weeks of negotiations and propositions and counter propositions until we landed at this format. Yeah, exactly, Zaps. If a lot of people haven't turned up, and it's always a problem as you upscale as well. That as you upscale, you're more likely to have people not turn up for whatever reason. I think one of the Brits didn't turn up for the Australian team league because they'd had to go to hospital. Like, none of us knew they'd had to go to, because of course in their mind, as they go to hospital, they're like, better tell my Discord friends I'm not playing Mahjong. No, you're going to hospital, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so anyway, that's as you upscale, more problems. Like lots of people are going to be, we're not just not going to be in contact. When you're doing it in your country Discord, it becomes a lot easier. Yeah. Sure, I probably can't support this. Yeah. Carer's allowance is, yeah. Well, no, I shouldn't say it, should I, Dave? But also, there's an election coming soon. We
Uh-oh.
don't have to live with this shit anymore.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, we've had our own political times here.
Yeah, I don't even understand what's going on over there. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I'll digress.
I'll digress
For a minute to explain
vote for change.
I'll digress and explain for a minute. So here's how it
Vote
works.
for
You see, in America,
whilst you talk, I'm going to put some more rice in my mouth.
In America, it is not possible for us to actually just straight up say that someone who has at any point in time been politically powerful is garbage and a criminal and broke the law and should be punished for the political acts that they committed. And so what we have to do is we have to like run around for years being like, oh no, is there anything we can do about this obviously terrible, shitty person? Oh no. And then finally find some really specific niche thing that they did that in and of itself doesn't matter, but that finally actually gives us the ability to say, aha, you're a criminal. We did it. We finally managed to nail you down for the like least important wrong thing you did. Right. And that's what just happened.
So, you've explained, because I didn't understand, because I'm like, well, surely he just paid her to shut up. He'd have paid her to shut up even if he wasn't running for presidency.
Yes.
He just paid to shut up. So I didn't understand why the payment for the shutting up was political.
Because the payment was made secret. The payment wasn't properly disclosed.
Well, you can't disclose a payment for telling someone to shut up. Otherwise, you're telling people. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's why they lied about it. But it would have been fine for him to come up with a reason to pay her, I believe. But because he lied about it and he used campaign funds for it and he didn't make it clear what they were being used for and he wasn't, that's where that becomes a felony. Now, fundamentally, misusing those funds should be a felony. I'm sorry.
Dave's been waiting at least 48 hours to say this to us.
I haven't actually, but like what I'm tired of is everyone being so loud about it. Because it's on the one hand, everyone's loud about this, and on the other hand, everyone goes, why is it that the youth of today feels like our country is garbage? Why is it that the youth of today doesn't have faith in our institute? It's because it's been 10 years of this dude running around being the absolute
came from their campaign
worst.
money. Yeah, that sounds a little bit more fraudy. Hi, mascot. I'm glad you're here for the politics.
That's the thing. You're allowed to spend campaign money on things, and I think it would probably be okay. You could probably find a legal way to spend campaign money on making someone not talk badly about you. But it's true. You then have to disclose it, and then everyone knows, and blah blah. And I'm just tired. And now the thing is, we've entered the next stage of the hand wringing, and the next stage of the hand wringing is, first of all, should we have even convicted him anyway? Because maybe it'll just make people support him more, which is like the most cowardly, bullshitty thing you can possibly think. And then the next stage of the hand wringing is, well, should he be sentenced to prison? Is it okay? And like,
you surely can't go to prison for that. He just paid some.
You absolutely can go to prison for that.
God, America.
He can be sentenced to up to 20 years. It's at discretion. But he can be sentenced to up to 20 years in prison.
I don't like the man. That seems a bit extreme. I mean, his hair has gotten worse. Like, whatever hair he's got, he needs help. That is a terrible.
There's a lot of conversation you can have about what is fair, given that this was a non-violent felony. Given that, and on the other hand, I can say, yeah, but if this person was not a politician and had a different skin color, they'd be taking 5 to 10 for sure. So hey, what's fair, right? Like. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. I think I think what is a fair sentencing is definitely. Then on the other hand, there's the fact that he's repeatedly violated the gag order on the case, repeatedly acted with zero respect for the law of the proceedings. Like that.
What impresses me is you're not even in your election yet, and you're having all this drama. Whereas we're having you're in the run up, right? We're having
it's November.
We're having our general election on July 4th. And it's the most uneventful election period I've ever seen in my life. I don't even realize why Sunak should just stay asleep. Get him an Xbox, because he doesn't need to do it. We all know what the answer is. We all know what's going to happen. I don't even know why I have to bother and put my fucking vote in, because we all know. I don't know why we're bothering. This is a huge waste of time. Everyone knows.
Yeah, no, our election season started like 4 years ago. It's absolutely crazy. I don't even.
I have been waiting for a general election for years now, and now it's here.
I
I'm
think I
bored.
think there's a
I'm
there's
bored.
a valid conversation to be had here in America about what a fair sentencing for this crime would be given the circumstances. I think there's definitely a lot of thoughts you can have one way or another. But what I am nauseous about and super super sick of is the constant hand wringing over. But if we do anything, but if we punish someone who broke the law, then their supporters will get met. I would love to go back in time to myself as a child and argue this with my parents. Look, mom, I get that you want to punish me, but if you do, you'll really actually only make me more committed to disobeying you in the future. So maybe your best answer is to just never punish me because you might make me mad. And weirdly enough, I knew people who parented that way. Their kids did not
I
turn
was
out well.
about to say I was a bit like that. Yeah, if I was reprimanded, I was like, well, how do I do this and not get in trouble next time? Like the behavior is going to continue.
It's
You just
all
may never hear about it.
it's
So,
all trash. It's
there
all
are
trash.
personalities out there like that. Dave, I have a feeling was probably a very good son, a very well behaved son. I
Absolutely. Well,
was,
no, I was 50% of a well-behaved son.
no, that's
I
about the right amount of percent of well behavedness.
because
Yeah.
my thing as a kid, sorry, mom and dad, and I love you very much, but my thing was always, I want to do whatever I want to do. Now, if you're not in the way, like I loved my parents. I didn't dislike my parents, so I wouldn't do things
Mm,
to deliberately antagonize my parents. I wasn't interested in antagonizing them, and a good chunk of the time, what I wanted to do kind of lined up with what was going on anyway. So
mm,
great, super great. And I generally I was fortunate enough to have parents that liked me and cared about me and wanted to
mm,
to do the right thing for me, and I understood and respected that. So that's a great thing to have in your life. But
mm,
yeah, I don't know. It doesn't
mm.
matter. It doesn't matter, Dr. Vallon getting donations. Of course, he's going to get donations after it because he's going to send out a big email to all the old people who send him money, whatever, saying like Jesus' own chosen savior has been unfairly persecuted by the evil, corrupt, evil people. And in all caps, I am watching you. And in all caps, if you don't donate, I will put you on a list. Like, yeah, I know. That's how the fundraising emails go. And then people send money. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All of this is
That's
so
very
irrelevant.
televangelist.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
So, if I send out my marketing emails for the pro organization
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
say, if
Gemma
you don't
Gemma will
join
be
the pro
very
organization,
disappointed if
I
you
will
aren't
give
in the
you
pro
bad
organization.
sumo luck for the rest of your
No,
mahjong career.
it's
That'll
got to
be
be
it.
personal. You have to say, I am watching you.
Oh,
It
I'm
has
watching
come
you.
to Gemma's attention that you have not signed up for the pro organization yet. Gemma has a list of
Oh
all
yeah.
loyal mahjong players. Do
I better
you
put
want to be removed?
yeah, I better put this link down in the chat now, just in case. I know none of you would want to not be on the mailing list and
It's
become.
true. Yeah, make sure everyone here is on the mailing list
Yeah,
because
I've
we
got
are watching
I
you.
have a notebook.
Yeah. And if you are not on the list, we will be very disappointed. And during our next administration, there will be consequences. Don't do that to yourself.
That was a nice segue. We got it back to mahjong. Well done,
Back to
kids.
Mahjong.
Well
Brought it
done.
back.
We
Brought it back
did
to
it.
Mahjong. So let's actually see if we can. Now I'm going to be actually putting together a video. I owe Gemma a video, which is going to be very much in the tone of that video, of that speech.
I hope a better video than the one I did, which was 20 minutes in the
No, our
Cambridge Hall, desperately telling people not to walk behind
please
me.
don't. Just go.
I'm filming here, feeling like an absolute jerk. Yeah.
But so I'm going to be
Yeah.
putting together a video about specifics of like, yeah, what does it mean to be in this organization? What do you do? What do you get? How do you sign up? What do you do if you're interested in let's say I don't know what I'd call this. I mean, we kind of called
Mm.
our own thing like this, like initiate league, right? Like, what if you're someone who's like, I want to be on this path, but
Yes.
I know that I'm not necessarily at this level yet, but I'd love to get started. And what can we offer you
Hmm.
along that way?
Hmm.
The green tile. Yeah, we should vote for the green tile party. That's fine. Third party mahjong candidate. That's fine. You can all vote for green
Yeah.
tile party.
So that's a good point, and I
I
do
think
want to
their
reassure you.
platform is
If you
simplifying the Yaku code.
if you don't feel you're ready for a pro cert, then the goal for me is that we're going to offer these classes as well to be audited. So if you are, paying the pro sub, then you get to be a speaking member, and if you're not, then a significantly smaller sum of money, you can listen to the lessons and start getting those skills together.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to get
And
a peek behind the curtain as well.
and I think as well, like maybe if we can get some pros certified and they start to feel confident, we can start buddying people up before they take the test. Because yeah, it would be. I don't want to be an elitist gatekeeper, and the world needs more mahjong lessons out there. So that's why I really like. Please do still sign up for the list, even if you're like, well, I don't want to be a pro now. This is something I'm not ready
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Just sign up for the mailing list, then you can see what we're doing. You can see where there's places where you can engage and interact and get some of those skills in. Um, because it might even be like you're like, well, I really do want to take the test, but I'm not going to take the test in the next 3 months. I've got school, or I've got a job change, or I'm having a child. This is not like there's not like going to be, oh, you have to do it now. We'll roll people through, and hopefully, if we can have auditors or initiates or however we're going to call them, those people can start understanding and say, well, actually, this really is for me. So I really want to this is going to be my goal.
I mean,
So
it's
we can bring you in.
something that I've always said is like at the end of the day,
Mm.
it's not a point. It's like a funnel, right?
Mm.
It's not just pro group. We're gonna make pro group. Here it is. It just exists on its own. Like we can't do that. We don't have a large enough player base. We don't have a large enough community to just focus on like this one point. We have to focus on a whole funnel. And so there's going to be, and that funnel has multiple parts. There's teaching new people to play the game. There's providing places for people to learn and play and have a good time casually. And then they're starting to provide those development things that say, okay, we got structured play, we got tournaments and events, and we have an educational funnel to help people who want to improve and improve and improve until they can get to the point where looking at something like a pro group is good for them. And I think our objective is going to be to build that whole, we want to nurture every part of that pipeline.
Yeah, I could just imagine a nightmare scenario where these certified professionals just play amongst themselves. That would be my hell. That would be my personal hell. If that's what happened, dear God, please send me angry emails. And I'm going to say a really dick thing. I'm going to be the arrogant person today. I'm going to be an American.
I'll
so I think that one thing that the WRC has done that's kind of intangible is we've set a destination, a goal for you to improve your skills. I want to get better so that I can go to the WRC, and I want to get better so that not only am I at the WRC, but I'm winning that world championship title. Before we had WRC, which is 15 years ago now, there wasn't that kind of end destination. We had the European Championships, but of course, it's the Europeans playing amongst themselves, and we all playing amongst each other most of the time in the regular events across the year. To have an event where you're really going to be playing people you've never met, of really great skill levels in their country, I hope at least that it was inspiring and motivating for people. And I think, can't say obviously it's all down to the event, but I think in the last 10 years, you can see the measurable improvement in non-Japanese player skills. I mean, even in 2017, the idea that we would have non-Japanese folks on that final table, I'd have laughed at you. I wanted it. I cried when it didn't happen.
Huge improvement, a huge improvement.
I cried when that didn't happen, but it didn't happen. In 2017, we just weren't quite there. But then 2022, two non-Japanese folks on the final table. That's crazy. And we're not on our home ground in Tokyo, unfortunately. Maybe we can take it from them.
Has seen better and better performance from Western players, which is very impressive. It's really cool. It's very, very impressive. This is the thing.
Yeah, so many of the Japanese folk were, complimenting the players they saw in 2022, and I think that's Dave remembers the old community about how there's a lot of gatekeeping. People just didn't share their skills very well.
Well, you had a lot of different things. There were a few things that I think were challenging when we were first getting started. Like first, I think was this lack of transparency between the Western mahjong scene and the Japanese mahjong scene. There was this idea that there was this like mythological knowledge.
We should joke about the secret, right?
Yeah. Like Japanese players had this magical secret, this mythological knowledge that made them amazingly good at mahjong, which, to be fair, is years of wisdom and experience and play, but like not like some kind of really this tangible thing that that you could ascend to the mountain and bring back, the 10 commandments of mahjong, and throw them to the ground because they're all garbage. But the golden calves, and I was like, oh, I just sumo.
No one knows the secrets of Fu.
But and I think that we also had a developing community. We had a community that was
Mm,
coming out of other styles of mahjong. So they played
mm,
very, very similar to Hong Kong and MCR. You have people take their successful
mm.
strategies there and bring it over. People who are just learning, and finally, you also had not a huge amount of opportunity to play.
No.
And when those three things come together, you have a community that's a little knowledge starved because they're not playing enough to gather a lot of experience.
Mm,
Just because, again, not nothing personal, but just in terms of how much are you actually playing and playing.
mm, mm,
And they have what they think, they feel a little daunted because they feel like there's this other community that really has it down, and they're like not that, and they're far away from that. And there's not that many of them.
yeah.
So like Jen's no, Jen, don't popularize the secret. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. I always when I'm in Sparrows, I always tell everyone. I say the secret to doing well at mahjong is drawing good tiles.
Yeah,
Every time you
that's
pick
the
up a
only way to win.
tile, just pick up a
Just
good one.
draw the right
And
one.
if you do that, you will always win.
Yeah. Hi,
Always
Jen,
win.
by the way. Welcome. Well,
Welcome.
Jen is working on the pro group with us. Jen is intimately involved.
Jennifer helped me with a whole ton of things.
She is involved from the JPMR side, of course, but she will be, she is my £120 phone call. Jen, I told them all about the horrible international phone call I made and how I then wasted 2 hours for a £5 voucher. So anyway,
And I will say, on the topic of the secret, I will say that like it sure feels like there's a secret when you play against people who are really, especially when you're new. And I'm thinking about my WRC
when you
2014
watch the
experience.
M Leaguers and they do things and you're like, why are they doing that and
No,
how
the
is it
120
working?
pound phone call. She had an expensive phone call that she was talking about, and it was to
Yeah,
you.
no, Jen is mocking my Britishness. Oh, she
Not,
doesn't know.
it's not polite to guess a lady's
Oh,
weight. I'm not.
yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, that was a risky turn in the conversation. It was not your fault. That's totally perfect. Anyway, so where was I? I was talking. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? Sometimes I think though people still use a variation of the secret to beat other people with. Oh, you don't know the right etiquette, or you don't know the right German Japanese terminology for it, or people using Japanese numbers to count Dora is like my trigger. Like, why? We have
Dorani.
the words 1, 2, and 3, and if you've got 4 Dora, I'm not even listening anymore. I don't care what
Yeah,
number you
I was gonna
use.
say no one wants to hear you bragging about your 4 Dora. Like, come on, it's fine, it's fine. Congratulations, good for you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you join my pro group, I'm not having any. Yeah, we're gonna be kind to each other. I don't like using things to
I think
isolate
let's be a
people.
little clear. Let's be a little clear about what we want that structure to be. I think
Mm,
there's a bit of question mark. So to my understanding, and now you can
mm.
I'll be
Okay.
everyman Dave.
Everyman Dave.
Everyman Dave says, okay, so if I want to be in this pro group,
Hmm.
what do I do? So I sign up for this. I
Hmm.
sign up for this newsletter, and what I imagine is going to happen that at some point,
Hmm.
everyone's going to get reached out to saying, hey, here we go.
Hmm.
And there's going to be some kind of qualification procedure
Yeah.
that I have to overcome. That I have to a test I have to pass,
Mm.
or something I have to
Yeah.
do.
So
Uh,
there'll be a test. I've called it a paper test, but I think that's a misnomer because we're probably going to operate it online. There'll be sort of like a test scoring, weight test, blah blah blah.
okay.
So there's gonna be that element. We'll also have like a sort of one-to-one chat.
Hmm.
I don't want to call it an interview because I think that's a little bit. I want to know the people who are going to come in because I want to know what skills they would like to bring, what contributions they want to make, right? And I want them to be able to
I'd
ask
almost
me
call it more like a
questions.
session zero.
Yeah,
Sounds more
session
like a session
zero. I
zero.
like session
Because
zero because I was gonna,
session zero is an RPG term, and
yeah, I was
session
going to call it one to
zero.
one,
Well,
but
one on ones are don't. I don't want one on ones are scary. But like a
yeah,
session zero is like when all
HR's
the
invited.
players sit down together and talk about what they're hoping to get out of the game they're going to play. Right? Like
I
what
love it,
themes do
Dave.
I
I
like?
love
What
it.
themes do I
Session
not like? Stuff
zero.
like that.
Well
Session
done.
zero. We all do a okay. We'll do session
Yeah,
zero. That's awesome.
session zero. Okay,
Um.
that's what we're calling it. I'm doing a session zero. I
Okay.
like that.
To hear from you.
Um,
What do I want? What do I care about? What are you know?
yeah, yeah. And then there's also going to be a play session so that we can have a check of your play style.
Okay.
Um, it's it's. I think sometimes people think it's like an exam where you score 65, you pass, but it is a little bit more like a sort of job application.
Culture fit.
Yeah, I mean, unless someone says something really crazy, I can't see what. But it is a
Well,
period to sort of get to know each other and understand what
I
the
think it's
expectations
good.
are from both sides, right?
It's good for the organization as a whole because yeah, talking to everyone coming in and
Mm,
understanding what they hope to achieve and what they hope to gain
mm,
means that the things provided can be tuned to
mm.
be what people like, to be the right type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's really important. I think watching how people play can help get an idea. Is like, yeah, are there things that
Like a
people
driving test.
do already? Are there things? Yeah, I guess it is kind of like a driving test because it's like it's not about being a perfect
No,
driver. It's about
no.
showing that like you do know the basic rules of how to do it, and
And
that you're
also,
going to do it generally speaking in like a safe, well, for driving in a safe and
yeah,
responsible way. And I think for playing, you can have a good
yeah.
attitude about playing. And
And but this is how you sort of set up, like, if you're going to be a pro, there is going to be some gatekeeping, right? If I made it so it was a 30-minute test and that's it, you're certified as a pro, pay your money, that's it. I don't think that's the right way. Like, people have to have a little bit more motivation if they're going to put themselves through it.
mm, that's true. I think that as an organization, like Franklin Mahjong Foot Golf Test, there's a discard
Yeah.
sitting on the table, Alon. It's upside down, but you're not flipping it over. Why? Why aren't you flipping the discard?
I ever tell you about my interview in Cambridge? So
No, no.
Cambridge are really infamous
Excuse
for
me.
doing some weird interview techniques. So I walked into the room and there was just a book on the floor. Like, there's books all over the walls, and there's just a book on the
Book on
floor
the
in the middle of the
floor.
room. I just walk past the book and sit down to where I've been asked to sit for the interview.
Oh, did they
And
ding
she
you for
looks at
not
me.
picking up the book?
She looks at me. She said, "Why didn't you pick up the book?" I'm like, it's your house. Do what you want. Like, I don't go to people's houses and start rearranging their shit.
Yeah, be like Chesterton's fence. What?
I
What?
No, but it's a book. I'm like, it's still an inanimate object. If it was a baby, maybe I'd have done something. But it wasn't. It wasn't requesting my response. It
It
was
is
just a book
Chesterton's fence.
lying
Yeah.
on the floor. Anyway, so I'm not going to be doing any of that because that's ridiculous.
Like weird tests. Like, oh yeah, if we don't do one weird thing, then we'll know that they're not a good mahjong player.
Obviously, I'll ask you what your favorite yaku is, and if it's not Sanchoku,
Not
out.
Sancho, no, out. But like, I think it is one of those things where for building this group up, it's not just. I mean, obviously, as people operating the group, we want to provide things that people like and make it a great thing and make everyone happy. But it's also going to, frankly, rely on members to be building and promoting and doing as well. And so we want everyone to feel aligned and to be aligned with that. That it's something that they
Mm.
want to grow and they want to build. Um, so let's say I'm in the U.S. Let's talk about one of our big challenges. The U.S. is a big place.
Yeah, what
Um,
is what is it with you people? You complain so
People, you're not
much,
supposed to say
but
that.
you've got
It's not
so
okay.
much ground. Like, there's so much land.
I
Like, you
know.
could all sit
It's full though. Didn't you
in
know
a
it's full?
building
We can't take any more people in. It's
with
full.
miles between yourselves and never have to communicate.
Well, that's a problem, right? If we want a pro group in the US, what can I
Yeah,
do? This
I'm
is a big
just
question. I'm
yeah,
going to ask these tough questions now.
yeah.
These are not rehearsed because
These are
they
not
don't have easy
rehearsed. Dave
answers,
did not
right?
warn me.
I live in the middle of Kansas, a state where apparently you don't have the
Mhm.
legal right to vote. They just determined. But like, yeah, they just determined the Kansas Constitution does not guarantee you the right to vote. Exciting. Hopefully they just change it. But anyway, I live in Kansas and I'm the only mahjong player for 500 miles.
Mhm.
I love mahjong. I've played online forever and ever. I'm amazing at mahjong. I would love to be part of this pro organization. Can I do this?
Yes.
And if so, what does it mean for me? What are my obligations?
Yeah. So, I've been
Hard
thinking
hitting
long and
question.
hard about this. Dave is a city boy, right? So he's used to living in an area where opportunities are just everywhere, right? You live in
True.
New York, opportunity is around you. However, I come from rural England. I spent most of my childhood working out how to get the hell out. And I didn't have opportunity around me. And I remember being very bitter that if I'd have lived in London, opportunities would have come my way. So that gives you the background to my philosophies on all of this. Because this is going to be a hybrid organization, there's going to be online and offline. I am hoping that we can set some expectations for some minimum offline participation that works within your circumstances. Obviously, I'm not going to say you have to attend this event. That's not feasible and that's not reasonable. However, I do hope that you will make the effort to attend one or two events within your country, within your means, right? Or even better, you teach more and more people in Kansas, so there's a large mahjong group in Kansas. That would be even better, right? You're creating your own offline activities, yeah? This is back to we're gonna have to expect people to be a little bit more self-built, right? So yeah, obviously some people, people have got circumstances, people, have obligations at home, or they might not be mobile. I still want them to feel they can join this group. I want it to be inclusive. So yeah, if that is you, I still want to hear from you, because I would like to try and find a way that you can participate and contribute in a way that is no less than any other member. I mean, bloody hell, it's 2024. We've all got internet connections now, I hope. If you're in Kansas with no internet connection, we might have a problem.
This is something, because in thinking about this problem, that's kind of how I felt about it as well. My unofficial thinking is really like, it's great. Like participating online, I think is far more viable than it has been in the past. I think it's excellent. I think there is some amount of like in-person requirement. My thinking on that, my unofficial thinking on that, has been like, go to at least one event in your nation a year, something like that. Something where it's like, yeah, I think it makes sense to say, yeah, you do have to show up for something once in a while, but it doesn't have to be immensely burdensome or like impossible. And the idea of like, oh, you have to come to something every month, you have to come to something every week. Like, it would be great if you could, if it was convenient and easy for you. That would be wonderful if you would like that. Let's make that happen. But making that a requirement for everyone, I think, is very challenging, especially in America where there's so much.
Let's say you live in the middle of nowhere, but the offline activity you can do is to go to a school once a month and teach kids mahjong. That's a great offline activity. That's a more difficult offline activity than getting on a plane and playing a tournament that someone else has organized. And yeah, if we really want to grow mahjong, we can't just look at these, central hubs. I think personally, we have to be, a little bit more. I'm trying to think of the world. Have that frontier spirit.
Frontier spirit. That's very, very American of you.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? We have a bot.
We're done, bot. But yeah, so yeah, again, if you're thinking, well, I'm not really sure, I live in the middle of nowhere, or, I have mobility issues, or I have family obligations, I don't think that I can participate, I still would recommend that you sign up to the mailing list so you can see what we're doing and see what you can contribute,
Yeah, I mean, again, there's going to be a lot of ancillary and attached things, even if folks are learning. Yeah, I know we're very popular. We get the bots because we're very, very popular. Everyone wants to be part of this. But I think there's gonna be a lot of different things. We can also talk a little bit about what our physical base of operations might be being. He said.
Well, I mean, Dave has wooed me of his nest.
It's true. It's true.
Dave's nest amazing.
So we're gonna be
feathered it well,
filling this place up with tables. And then as I need to finalize this order and give a lot of money to Japan.
The only thing is you need a badge. You need a WRC badge logo somewhere.
Okay, you want me to make a giant metal WRC dinner plate, and I can eat dinner off it every night? And every day I'll cover it with delicious food, and then I'll slowly uncover WRC as I eat, and I'll be reminded of who gives me my daily bread.
I mean, I'd rather a sign on the wall next to Sparrow's nest.
I could do that too, I guess. I guess I could do that. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of stuff happening at Sparrow's Nest.
Penny bread joke.
So I'm really
Don't encourage him,
that.
Jen's busy on her own super secret project at the moment. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say about Jen's, but I know why she's up late. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'll just ask one question.
Yeah.
Is it cool?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
as long as I know it's cool.
You should definitely follow Jen so you can hear about her super secret project.
I would follow Jen anyway.
Which is not actually related to WRC Pro Group, which is normally what I think is super exciting. It is our own project.
WRC place 4 or 5 on the doorbell. We gotta update our doorbell. Our doorbell game needs to be upped. There's so many little things I want to get done, and I haven't because I had to have a job.
Dave's had to work for a living again.
It's crazy. I mean, it's actually been nice. Like I'm having actually a very nice time. I have a lot of positive things to say about this job, which is nice.
Oh, that's good.
But it also has taken time, which is how jobs are. You got to work at them.
That's what they're paying you for.
Yeah, that is why they give me money, so that I spend my time on doing the things that I need to do for them. So it has been a challenge. But No, I'm pleasantly surprised. So on the personal Dave front, it's nice that that's happened. So yeah, we're gonna have Sparrow's Nest as a base of operations here in the U.S., which is gonna be
And
really cool.
Dave found amazing membership cards for the pros.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting cool membership cards for everyone. We're gonna be getting a bunch of different things. A big yeah, we need a big photo of Gemma smiling like the Queen to put up.
No, the Queen never smiled. Remember that? So we went to this again. This is back to weird things that happen in mahjong tournaments. So we went to this mahjong tournament in the
Hmm.
UK, and we were invited to go to the town mayor's, like, not their residence, where the town. It was kind of like a town hall, but it
It was a
wasn't
town
quite.
hall. It was like the town hall.
It was the town hall. Okay, and we went into this room. I have to be honest. I did kind of notice. I'm like, huh. That's a kind of nice photo of the Queen. That's a nice photo of the Queen. Normally, she's like glaring down at me. And the mayor's wife signed up and she's like, I noticed you looking at the photo. It's one of the only photos where the Queen is smiling. And I'm like, what a country that we have to be so happy when we get a photo of our ruler smiling down on us rather than snarling. Now I signed up for the program as a VTuber. Yeah, I don't really see why that would be a problem. Gemma's thinking it through in her head. I don't really see. I mean, we'd need to know your real name and stuff, but I don't see why we'd need to. Yeah, why not? Is there a reason why not?
I don't know. I can't think of a reason why not.
I can't think of a reason why not.
When do we expect meetings? Oh, when do we expect exams to first? Yeah, I can't think of a specific reason if you're joining as like a media personality, which I guess that's how I would
But
think of that as.
but Reki would still go to real events, I guess, right? Reki?
I guess
Yeah,
it really depends on what the expectation is
but
there. I guess it's kind of
but
true. Like I feel like
Saito Go is a VTuber primarily, Ushi-san, and he goes to offline events. He's still
yeah.
primarily a VTuber.
Well, I think the challenge would be if someone's like, I'm a VTuber and I want to exist entirely virtually and never be seen and never go to anything. I think that would be a little bit
That'd
challenging.
be challenging.
But I think
Yeah.
as someone who has a VTuber personality, if they're if they are willing to also be a person and can come to the occasional physical event, I don't see
Mhm.
why. Again, if it's like their media personality is a pro personality, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, so when you say pseudonyms, I'm okay for people using pseudonyms as long as it's reasonable, right? And it's, yeah, because quite a lot of the Japanese use pseudonyms. That's not their names. So when do we expect exams to first start rolling out? My goal at the moment is to have an application period in August, I think.
Hmm.
Um, it's obviously got a few stages to it, and I've got to make sure I've got the time for our session zeros. Um, and then hopefully we can move people to a sort of like a study period.
I'm thinking Gemma's
And
exam is
then
just going to be like 10. It's just going to be 10 hands, and each hand is like, why should you fold this hand? Like, please write a paragraph about why you should definitely fold this hand. Why is folding the right choice in this situation?
oh, so it almost always is the right choice, Dave.
Oh, yeah. What type do we have a picture of what types of questions we're gonna do? Like, are we gonna do those number grind questions? Are we gonna do play style questions?
I
What
I
is the
I
thought
want
about
to
them?
I want to put a Gyakuten. I want to put, yeah, the scoring criteria, at least one in. At least one in. I think we have to now. Um yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't think people should tie themselves completely in knots about it. Because also remember, if you're struggling, probably everyone else is struggling. And if
I'm
everyone
gonna
else
yeah.
is only scoring like 40%, I'm not going to be like, well, that's it. No
And
pros
you
this
all
time.
fail entire cadre. I don't know. I've always been like I feel like a couple questions like that is good. Now I'm going to be haughty and give my takes on the protests
Okay.
I've
All
seen.
right, Dave.
I think
Yeah.
that the tests that are like, can you grind out these 50 mahjong situation questions in 50 minutes, and each one is really really complicated, then you need to be able to just be like blah 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 blah. I don't know if that's really a good assessment. I don't know if it's a good assessment because I think frankly most Western people cannot pass it because they don't
Mm,
train themselves to do that because you really don't
mm,
have to you don't really have to be that way. And I don't know if I think it's a really good assessment of skill. I think it's an
mm.
assessment of memorization. I think it's assessment
Yeah.
of like
Oh God,
of
yeah.
knowledge. Yes, like knowing these things by off the top of your head is actually pretty good. But I think we can do some of those assessments in less of a
Hmm.
time penalty. Yeah, Imaska, by the way, that's how the test, at least the JPML test I've seen, it's been like, here's
Hmm.
30 hands, here's 30 minutes. You have like
Hmm.
1 minute per hand to either score it or like determine what the
Yeah.
minimum, or like a table situation, what's the minimum value you have to sumo row to get to second place or something like that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like things like Reki's describing. Yeah, like you're not hindering the lead.
Um,
Second player has a close contour.
just to make you feel happier, there will be no kanji test. There'll be no Japanese language
What?
test.
I've been
There will be
practicing writing
no
Moriyama's name in kanji for
uh,
years just so I would be ready for
just for
this.
this
Get the
moment.
stroke order test right.
You got to be able to write my surname, and I still think I cock that up most of the time. I can't write my husband's kanji for his
Oh
name. I
no.
can write the first one. I can't write the second one.
Oh
It's that bad.
no.
So the other thing that we won't have that you've made me forget now. Oh, no trivia, no mahjong trivia. You don't have to know who like the latest 9th Dan is or whatever, 10th Dan. You don't have to tell
It's
us.
not gonna be who is just the greatest player, and the answer has to be
It's
Moriyama.
me. Oh,
Sorry, yeah, the
Moriyama.
answer
Yes,
to
that's right, Moriyama.
which, yeah, just the question, like, which mahjong player is objectively and quantifiably the best?
just write who. Yeah,
Me,
whoever is reading. Just write you.
me, me.
You.
Yeah, we want people with swagger. We want people who will say me. Um, okay, yeah, no trivia, no stuff like that. I think some of those questions, for the record, and this is opinion for the record. Everything you're hearing now is Dave opinion. But I think some of those questions about like score the hand, the situation. So I think having those on the test is good, but I don't think that the grinding them with a strict time limit is helpful. That should be a little more nuanced about my opinion. I think yes, you should be able to understand a game situation and what your objectives are. You should be able to find the weights of a hand and score hand, and testing that is probably going to be, I would imagine at least, part of what happens.
Hmm.
But I'm also imagining, and again, this is all not official. I'm being super clear. I'm not trying to make the test away. I would imagine that trying to get you to grind them out fast is just not helpful,
No.
and probably not something that you should be too worried about. Yeah, yeah. Like there should be some
Hmm.
can you do it proof versus like can you do 50 of them in 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I was flirting with whether there should be like some rules questions for WRC, but that seemed a bit cruel as well.
Um, yes and no, because at the end of the day, knowing those rules is going to be important, if only for to some degree your protection. Like if you are a pro, if I am a pro and I go to an event and I'm sitting at a table, people are going to start asking me rules questions. They're going to assume I know it.
They should probably ask the ref.
They should.
That,
No, they
that
should
can be
for
the
sure
rules
ask
question.
the ref. They
What do you
for
do
sure
when
ask the
someone
ref.
asks you this question? You should call them.
But
the ref,
I think that there should be some knowledge of the rules based in there. And again, I'm sure most people already do know the rules, so it's not that big of a deal. But like I think it is important because people are going to look at pros as people who are a step above and who should know these things. So that's
My only concern is that, like,
almost.
you know, most Europeans for sure are not playing the WRC rules.
Right. Well, again, I don't think we have to get into super crazy minutia or a million questions on a 10-second timer. But I think there should, in my opinion, again, it's all super opinion. There should be some touching on it.
We should
because-
have. Is this can allowed?
Ooh, is this con allowed? Is a great question. It covers a few bases. That's actually good. Let's go. Is this con allowed?
Yeah.
And on my test, the answer is always no. No, the con is not allowed because you should never con. The con is completely forbidden. At all times.
No. Okay, I like that. I'll write that down.
Well, yeah, for WRC, it is going to be WRC rules across.
Yeah, and she, and yeah, again, Reki's right. That is we'd have to make sure people understood that we're talking about WRC rules.
Well, we can put the logo on it, I think, right?
Yeah.
They should gather from that. If you'd really like to, I mean, the problem is that does conflict with my other thing that I tell people, which is follow your heart.
Yeah, last turn, no cans allowed. Yeah, flam. Yeah. Like it.
Last turn. But I think you should be prepared. And again, it's not about saying that you can't play other rules or blah blah. But if you are going to be a WRC certified professional player, you should be well familiar with WRC rules. And no one's perfect, and people make mistakes, and that's fine.
No, yeah, and I've seen pros before. Like something happens on the table, and everyone sits there going like, "What do we do now?" Like
we're human beings. We're all human beings.
Yeah. It's okay when you're doing the standard stuff, but then something happens and but do you know because did they change it last year? I should check, right?
Yeah. But the counter thing to that to make sure people remember is I do think once people get this certification, they're going to be it sounds a little more dire, but they're going to be treated differently at events and when they interact with the rest of the player base. and there's going to be an expectation on them, and so like you should at least be prepared to have some comfort with the WRC rules.
You've reminded me of the other thing we're doing, which is also exciting. We're going to be doing our own referee test.
Aha.
Aha. And we will have an online, I think it's going to be a 2-hour session, like a sort of a lecture, basically.
I'm gonna have to go to
Woohoo.
that, aren't I? I'm gonna have to be a rep.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do, so we've got one we're trying to schedule for Europe, but then we'll do another one because we can't just do one. And then we'll start getting people tested up for to be. I
WRC
mean,
certified ref.
again, you might not want to be a ref,
No,
but
I
it'd still
do.
be a useful test to take, I think.
Yeah, like for me, that's I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to have that under my belt, just because. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's
people
we've
ask me
kind of
questions.
this is what I can tell you the timing for this one. Like we've definitely sat on it for a while because really, the Japanese can manage themselves. They don't need our referee help. And Europe.
No, there was that M League game the other day. It was not a bad call at the M League game.
I heard. Anyway, but Europe is mostly playing EMA rules, and now that America is playing WRC rules, then we're like questions and questions and questions of this situation, which we hadn't really had to tackle before, because of course when you're playing at the WRC level, some of these mistakes just aren't made. Like it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, JPML pros. I mean, I hope you're talking about yourself, Jen. You're more than welcome to come and take our ref test. It will be in English though, so there'll be no Japanese. But yeah, so because of that, we were like, right, okay, we need to sort of. So we've been building this this referee book up, this referee guidance book up, and I'm obviously been in the accounting world too long over the last few years because I'm really obsessed with illustrative examples to help you with your interpretations.
I think that's a good thing. I think it's important to have that.
Because the rules are the rules, right? Those are the standards. Now the only issue is that sometimes you can have this diversity in practice, right? People interpret what's been written in different ways. And sure, you can keep fiddling with the wording, but probably you're just going to create new ways of interpreting it, right? There's definitely some wording issues that have been found by the Americans, and they've kindly been giving some great feedback on that. And some of it's just like, oh, well, I'm not really sure we can fix this by wording it because someone will just do something else weird and bizarre. So this is why having illustrative examples, I think, will start to clear up some of that, how we expect you to implement the rule. Jen doesn't, you have to ref, you can still take the test. It'll be fun. I think how we view the word pro colloquially and how it means as you intend doesn't matter. Yeah, do you know, Terrell, and I really didn't want to use the word pro. I really didn't want to. And that was another delay. I don't like the word pro.
I mean, there's things we can do.
Yeah, I don't like the word pro. But it just got to a point where how do I sell any other word now? It's so established in Japan.
It's a known word. I think it's got a clear definition. I mean, yeah, maybe this is me coming from having a pro league for 15, 16 years now. No, it's 14 years, I'm sorry.
I
14
did
years.
mock you, Dave.
You did. Everyone did. They all laughed. They all laughed, but who's laughing now? And I mean, I think it's aspirational to some degree, and that I would love to be at the point where we're paying people salaries because we're getting so many endorsements and so many other things like that. There's a lot going on in that, like.
I mean, yeah, Zaps, I really like certified because, as I said, I like the concept of chartered. However, if we look at it from another angle, which is how I finally got argued off my ledge of certified, was that actually, Gemma, in 10, 20 years, these people who have the certificate will have money-making opportunities because that is where Mahjong is going to go. It's only going to get bigger.
It's aspirational.
It's only going to get bigger. And, commentating, appearances, writing stuff, all of this will become open to people and people will be able to, I mean, semi-pro maybe. I'm not going to promise you can quit the day job. Depends on what sort of day job you're doing. But
still doing something professionally means that you take it seriously and hopefully that you can get some kind of compensation for it. So that second part we're working our way up to. But the first part is taking it seriously.
I probably think I'm live
on stream. And I mean, there are definitely things that we can do for our professional players. Like I've thought of a bunch of different ways we can make life easier for our professional players. Some kind of travel stipend, some kind of like other things
Yeah,
like
well,
that
exactly.
can be offered through USPML
and
specifically. To be fair, this
I
is
mean,
me thinking about USPML
mm.
stuff,
Well,
not
I mean,
WRC stuff. I
I've
want to
been
be clear
talking
who's
to
promising
Jen
what.
as well about how we can make it so that some of the money making opportunities that Japanese professionals have, we can also offer to our non-Japanese professionals, and how we can get those set up in the next 12 months. So that, and again, I'm not promising you an income that you can quit your day job.
Oh, my
I'm really
mahjong
sorry.
welfare.
Yeah, it's going to be more like mahjong
Finally,
welfare.
I'm on the dole.
Mahjong food stamps. But I do want to make it so that if you're doing well, if you're doing great contributions, that there are opportunities to, yeah, to have have some money from it in the similar way to the Japanese professionals. Yeah, I don't know. I can't promise, but that is. I hope I can make it for you guys, because I think everyone would be happier that if we didn't have to. I certainly would be happier if I could do less of my job and do more of this.
I mean, I think, yeah, I think the thing that I do want to be clear about is, as like the point of these groups, the point of this pro org is we want to help people advance their game. We want to build high level play. And then, yes, as mahjong grows, as opportunities appear, we want to share opportunities with the people who are basically the cream of the crop, so to speak. Um, I know whoever says that, but I'm saying, can I write off mahjong like you? Of course, can write off. You have to just call it a business. It's great. Dave in a foam bath glamour calendar. Unfortunately, all copies of that were seized and burned by the decency police. So there's no Dave. Although I have to say, slight tangent. I got my copy of the 2024 JPML calendar, and there was substantially
How did
less.
you get a copy? Where's my copy?
I was in Japan. You weren't.
Oh, you're in Japan.
Yeah,
right,
yeah. There's substantially less bathing suit bathtub. Much more of an adventure theme. A lot of the ladies were doing like adventure theme things. So it
Getting
felt,
some fresh air.
yeah, like it definitely felt. It felt more like a multi-theme calendar than like a pinups type calendar, so to speak. I thought that was kind of cool. Um,
I'm
Hello,
glad for
welcome.
that direction. But yeah, I think I want mahjong to be
Agreed, Juan.
sustainable. And let's be honest, people like myself who have done this have been in positions where they've been able to probably extend themselves and invest too much of their personal wealth and life into mahjong.
Look, some
I
of us
want
are
to
getting
make it.
audited, okay?
Someone's getting audited now. Um, I want to make it sustainable activity, and you know, money being a dirty thing, I get that, but part of that is to make sure that if someone is doing work, that they can get money for it.
Yeah, I mean, people who do work and do things deserve to get part of the benefit, their fair share of the benefit that comes out of these things.
Mm.
I think that's very important. So talk about enough of that. Do we have any other questions that people might have about?
Yeah, so Flan so truly excels in their field. I mean, but that's the thing, right? That's the other definition of pro that people kept pushing on me. Well, actually, it doesn't necessarily mean professional. Like if you say you're a pro at that, it doesn't mean you're professional, right? It means you're at the level. But yeah. Thank you, Kalo Tengu. I'm really happy that you are happy for the project. I hope it's going to be a good project.
I think it's going to be a good project.
I'm going to work really hard, and I'll probably get a lot more grey hair, and I'll cry because there's just been too much going on over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know why we decided to do it all at once. To be fair, it was lots of different work streams that all suddenly accelerated and came to a head all at once. And each one sort of needs to get moving on its own, right?
Yeah, it's like it's a lot of different stuff. It's too many different things. I don't like it. I do like it, but it's a lot of work. It's just a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And I have so many things to juggle and do.
Yeah,
but
my real life and my real work has suffered a lot this week.
And somebody else knew.
Oh, thanks, Granny. Thank you.
Thank you, Granny. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier about wanting to build that whole funnel. Like, I think it's really important that when we build these things, we consider the idea that there's a path people take. They get involved with mahjong. They learn it. They learn to play it. They hopefully have a great time and want to play it more. And you want people to feel welcomed and provide them resources all the way along that path, from beginner to maybe they just become a casual player who likes playing mahjong with their friends sometimes, and that's great. Or maybe they go all the way forward and they decide, yeah, I really want to be a pro. I really want to be a serious, high-end player of this game. And that's also great.
I will say, and I think this is something that Jen has probably put a lot of thought into over the last few months, is that the other thing we need to do is build an audience for mahjong. That's always been a challenge.
Yes. The overwhelming desire to play perfect.
I mean, because I think it was interesting. I think that was it Kindai Mahjong was writing that actually most people who engage with mahjong now in Japan are spectators. They're not players, which is that's really a change, a big change, because it used to be that the only way people really engaged with mahjong was playing it. Obviously people would watch it, but it's now really shifted to a lot of watching. So that's why, we need good commentating and all of that. Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll get on ESPN.
I mean,
it's a bit like when people say we'll get to the Olympics.
I'm working on it. We're not going
to the Olympics, though. I'm not going to the Olympics.
That's actually ESPN televised mahjong is definitely on my list of things I want to make happen.
We need commentating group, and that's the real challenge of mahjong, right? Especially for Westerners. I think in Japan most people have an idea of mahjong to an extent. It's like I can play chess. I can't really play chess, but I could watch a chess game and know what was happening because I know the basic moves. But if you just put someone who never seen mahjong before or played it or touched the tiles and you just showed them mahjong on TV, like, what the hell is going on? It's like me trying to watch American football. Why do they stop every 10 seconds? It doesn't make any sense. It's too complicated. That's why American football will never be a big game. Dave's obviously ignoring me because I think he probably disagrees with me.
I don't know. I think it's challenging, but I think it could happen. I think what really needs to happen is we need to find the ways to display the information about the game that resonate with people who are not familiar with it. That's
but
really the key thing.
It's not like real football, like British football. But it's easy.
Real football.
You have to kick a ball into a goal. Yeah. That's really all it is.
Yeah. Well, no. You have to hold on.
That's why American football is impossible.
Dispel it into the derivative of that. The issue isn't whether the game is easy or not. The issue is whether someone looking at the game, someone watching the game, can get a good understanding of both how well someone is or isn't doing at the game, their team or whatever, and some of the drama that's going on. Now, you're right. European football, it's not a super complicated game. But there actually are a lot of really, at least to me, rules about offsides and who's allowed to be where. And frankly, even the rule of whether you're allowed to touch the ball with your hands. You're not. That's not a complicated rule. But if I watched football on television, I wouldn't need to know or care about whether or not they could touch the ball with their hands. I can see where the ball is. I can very quickly intuit they're trying to get the ball into the goal.
Yeah, right.
And now I can be part of the drama of the game, even though I don't understand anything more than that. Because immediately upon watching, I can understand what's happening. The ball needs to get into place. The people are kicking the ball around, trying to get the ball into place. And that's all I need to care enough to watch. And that's the thing that I feel like is important with something like mahjong, is making sure that initial bump, once I can understand enough to care about what happens to any of these players, to know why picking up this one tile was great and picking up this other tile was devastating.
Mercedes just volunteered to run the ref seminar. If she can explain mahjong rules in an hour.
Yes. All right. On it. But yeah, people don't. It's not about the idea that the rules are complicated. Frankly, it's not even about the idea that scoring's complicated.
Okay. All types of football, you could watch it with one camera angle.
Yes.
You just pointed at the pitch. Whereas mahjong, you're there with 4 cameras jumping between them. It's just. Even as someone who likes mahjong, even I'm like, I have to watch it like this.
But that's presuming that what you want to do is broadcast the status of all 4 players. Which, again, in some situations, that makes a lot of sense. For example, let's look at an M-League game. In an M-League game, you got fans of all of those teams there. They want to each team wants to see how their player's doing. They want to see the drama. And they're generally a fairly mahjong-educated audience. So watching all 4 players makes sense. For things that appeal to new people, I still think you would do far better just following one player per hand
Mm.
and giving more clear explanations of why what they're doing matters and what they're seeing on the table.
I hard agree.
And then you can get someone interested in the drama of what's happening to this person. And then eventually they'll start to, yeah, but what's happening to that person? You know, they'll work their way into being comfortable with a multi-hand view. But I think that if you stick with things that are very simple and just focus on getting that connection, I understand what's happening. I understand why drawing this tile was good for them. Or at least I can be told this was a good tile. I mean, forget even understanding how a hand works. If you can tell on a tile pickup, good tile, oh, my player got good tile, but now they have to discard danger tile. Do they? Is it worth it? Like, I can get it. I can start to get what matters here. The on-ramp is hard. And the biggest problem with the on-ramp, frankly, is you can put all the work into building the on-ramp media, but then you still got to get people to actually watch it. And that's hard too.
I look forward to Dave's production house now.
I'm working on it. We got stuff in the oven, a lot of stuff in the oven. We got a big oven. It's full of stuff. It sounds more delicious than it's going to be.
Yeah.
Bake anything. But some Jen.
Yeah, it is a challenge, I think, and there's also the inherent conflict between people who know mahjong and want to use all the terminology and all of that, and then it makes it so it's impossible to watch for beginners.
Well, that's the biggest problem. Is like people who know mahjong do want to see all four hands. They want to see exactly what's, that's exciting to them, to see the whole table, to know like, oh, I know you're ready for this and I know they're ready for, like, and that's fun for them and that's great. That's fun for me. Like, I love it. I'm not saying that type of production is like a bad one, but I think that type of production is not very accessible to people who are new, and you need to do something very different for people who are new if you want to get that kind of attention. And to be fair, what I'm describing is a lot like streaming. Because that's exactly what happens when if I sit here and live stream Tenno, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing one player's perspective. You're seeing just my game. You're getting my reactions as to whether I think it's good or bad and how I feel about it and what I'm worried about in my live commentary and things like that. Johnny Tupon. Yeah, Johnny Tupon and this famous toy. Hey, it's old Johnny Tupon. I love this.
There's one other thing I want to add about the pro event that would be good the pro group, if you do join, because obviously if you do travel to Japan, we are affiliated with JPML and Kyokai. So if you want to attend their events, you will have the right to do that, which I think is a big deal if you wanted to make your your trip to Japan even more special.
So let me be the person. Let me be the foil to this. So what exactly does that mean? What types of events does this give me access to?
So there'll be some limitations, of course, on the time. I can't make it so that an event is when you're attending, when you're going to be in Japan. But basically, I've been told almost everything as long as it works in the schedule. Like some events,
what is everything? What are the things? Like I don't know.
So
I've
things
never
like
been
masters.
to Japan.
I mean, Jen is probably even better to ask. I've been told you could attend the league events, but you'd have to be there for 5 months, I guess.
To be like an actual part of the league. Okay, if you're going to attend the league, you have to be part of the league for the duration. But you do have the right. Okay.
I mean, let's say you're going for a working holiday.
Right.
Do you have working holiday in America?
No. Okay. Let's say I'm going to Japan for 2 weeks, and I can schedule that whenever I want. But I'd love to participate in a major mahjong event. What types of things?
If you were to do that, then you would contact me, and I would go and I'd get the schedule, because I can't tell you off the top of my head. I mean, these people, they're running events constantly.
Good.
You could, for example, if you were like I used to, and I was going to Japan 2 or 3 times a year, I participate in the Yukan Fuji Cup, only being in Japan 3 times a year. It's a lot of money, though. I don't suggest you do that. But yeah, I mean, there are some limitations. If the event runs for 5 months, I can't fix.
No, I'm thinking more about we should make sure then to put together some really concrete examples of like specific regular events that you can go to Japan and do.
I mean, Jen is definitely more on the pulse. It's been a long time since I played in the professional circuits in Japan. Yeah, there you go.
Ranwa. What's
Oi?
I thought it was French.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a very important thing. So that's exactly what I'm wanting to draw out is like, yes, you can go to Japan, which is great, and you can go to Japan specifically to participate as a pro in these awesome events. And as specific as we can be about that.
I mean, it might be as well, where some of these events have got players who are seeded into higher levels. Maybe I could go and negotiate to get if you win a pro event of ours, to seed you in
Seed you
up
in.
to seed you in up to not the finals,
Ooh.
but the top whatever.
Ooh. I like that.
So yeah, and that would at
Seed
least
me in,
reduce
coach.
the time sink maybe. But yeah, I mean, I've been a little hesitant in pushing it too hard, because what I don't want people to think, well, that they're not going to get value from being a WRC pro because they don't have the means to travel to Japan.
No, no, no. See, this is you're backwards. You're backwards. Having access to do something increases the value and draw of traveling to Japan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've obviously said it, but
It's an
but
amazing. I think this is an amazing value for people. The opportunity to participate in these things. Yes, traveling to Japan is an additional cost, and not everyone can do that whenever they want, and that's a challenge for people. But it's a huge value to have the door open to you on something that the vast majority of the world cannot participate in.
what I would like to stress is that you will be on an equal footing with JPML and NPM pros. You won't be lesser than them, and that's why you have the access to the same events. Like, there are logistical troubles, but you have the same access as they do.
To shift
That's
gears
the
to
important
Cranky Man
point.
Dave, this also means that your behavior and conduct are going
Wow.
to be held to a standard. So,
Yeah.
for those of you in America who like to go to, and I don't think anyone here would ever do this because everyone here is a cool, wonderful person, but there are people in America who will go to a tournament and then like rage quit day 2 because they're not doing well.
I hope. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, don't do that. Don't do that. You are representing at that point, so just be aware. And so obviously your behavior. That's a good question actually. Do you get if you're not anonymous on Run Logs, or do you get a
I'm
Run
not
token?
anonymous. No. So yeah, of course, if you become a a WRC pro, you will have your pro ID on Run, and you can have a really annoying photo like mine. I do highly recommend submitting a photo so they don't just take it from your Twitter.
Okay.
If I cared enough, I guess I should change it. But
Can I be
yeah.
my cat?
No.
Oh
No.
man.
And you do have to be smiling. I've heard they like smiling photos,
Smiling
which I'm
faces.
doing. I'm smiling,
Hold
but
on.
in a really
I
irritating
thought the
fashion.
whole point of being
No. Have you not
pro
noticed?
mahjong, a male pro mahjong player, is to grimace. I thought that. Yeah, I need to be like, like that's gotta be how I look. My serious grimacing
win
pro
a
face.
trophy,
Yeah, when I win, I have to also look mad about it. Like, I guess I'll take this. Fine.
Really, I won. Oh God, this is just so burdensome for me. Okay, so that will be one thing that will be different from being a JPML or NPM pro. I would like you to smile when people take photos of you.
That's fair.
And
Another
I mean,
thing we can
you can
definitely
look
do.
serious and like, I'm gonna fight you kind of thing. But if you win, just crack a
Look a
little
little
bit on
happy. Look a little happy. A tiny grin.
That's why I always liked Maya Hada Pro, because he was always like, "Yeah, I won." I'm like, yeah.
It's a much better reaction than looking mad about it. Like,
See, you know what always got me was I was like, God, if I came second and the person who was first was looking so bloody miserable about it, I'd feel even worse. Like, if you're gonna be better than me, at least bloody smile.
Yeah, at least be like, I did it, so I can be like, oh, you did it, yeah, good for you, instead of just being like, if you didn't want to do it, I would have done
Another
it.
trophy.
Was that
my shelf is just buckling at the weight of all my trophies.
Too many trophies. I was thinking we could see if we could organize group trips too, at least here from the US. See if we could.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's getting cheaper and cheaper to go to Japan, so maybe there are more opportunities.
It is. The price is tumbling. It's getting really easy.
But yeah, that's the point I want to stress, is that you will be of equal value as a WRC pro, even though it's not JPML pro. You are completely of equal value.
It's not considered like a child certification.
No,
like a
you
lesser
are
certification.
That's partly what's taken a lot of work, is to make sure that and that's going to be it's going to be a continuous journey of doing a lot of work, is to make sure that we're at a level where we retain that recognition. Yeah. I want us to be recognized, and I said it's going to be good. What video is this now?
I think the we can link the video, because I actually, we are starting to get close to that time where I get antsy about moving.
To
get to.
Dave's got to run mahjong things. See, look, Dave is doing offline events.
My Hut box. It's a Pizza Hut ad. Here's the video. I'm going to link the video at bare minimum. The Pro Promo. All right, let me see if we can. The Pro Promo. Here's a link to it at least. Oh, it's only 4. Okay, we could do it. Hold on. Let me see if I can. How do I make it do what I need to do?
Jen understands marketing. It's true. She is a good marketer. This one.
Here, hold on. I'm getting this. I'm getting this ready.
You should have had like little reaction videos. Yes, you're going to have a code of ethics, Lan. You are.
Yes. And the first rule of being a pro is never con. Anyone who cons immediately removed.
I'll say this now because I don't understand why anyone's not asked me the question directly. We won't be too prescriptive on where you play. However, if you're going to make an appearance as Gemma Pro, we would like it if you could inform us of that so that we can raise any objections if there's a particular concern. For example, if you're going to play, I'm going to drink alcohol and take Class A drugs whilst taking off my clothes and playing some mahjong, I will probably say, no, you cannot do that as a representative of this organization. If you would like to do a charity event on a format, on a platform that I'm not particularly keen on, that's by the by, you should continue to do that, if you see what I mean.
I'm trying to figure out how to like...
There will be no ban on any particular platform. What there will be is an expectation that you inform us of how you are leveraging and using your pro title, if that makes sense. Because again, it's back to this sort of reputation. If you're there streaming and saying, wow, I really like thick waifus, it's not appropriate.
Oh shoot, I'm trying to get this video set up to play with sound.
Dave doesn't like thick waifus.
And I'm done.
Yeah, so it's a little bit, I guess it's a little bit more context heavy than but the answer is no ban on particular platforms. So there's no ban on a particular platform.
Manage my sound and figure out what thing goes to what sound. It's really annoying. Okay.
So if you're externally representing the organization, then basically it's back to this kind of weird thing that JPML and Psychoisen and NPM do, in that they also kind of have these half talent agency, but also a pro group. Like, but so it's that kind of weird mix. And of course, they have commercial contracts with companies. And again, I would like us to have commercial contracts with companies. I would love to see some of our pros in Mahjong Fight Club and being paid to do so. And it's about making sure that we can move together as a group to achieve that. But no, there will be no ban. I might ban your cans. That's stupid.
All right, hold on. I'm okay. I think I've done it.
Yes, Texas themed. No, Alamo themed. I love the Alamo. Let's have an Alamo Mahjong Fight Club.
Oh God. I'll accept all suggestions for those who want to start running these things at Asparagus. I'm very open to it.
The wall could legitimately be the wall of the Alamo.
All right, here we go. I think I can turn on my desktop audio and we can play this video.
Oh, we're going to reaction to it as well.
Get reactions to the video.
Because Jen was really nice and put a few more scenes of me in, and I just take them out. I just don't want to see me anymore.
Oh no. All right, let's see. Everyone let me know if this works, because I haven't tried doing this in a while.
What it's
Jen
up,
did
everyone.
this video, by the way. Jen put this all together. She did the concept.
It's Mahjong time.
Yeah, that's the video. This is the linked video, so I'm hoping people are able to hear it.
I really liked when Befu said it's Mahjong time. I don't know where he got such a good English accent, but it was nice.
Excited about the new
I'm a
WRC
smart man to
announcement.
make videos
It's
play.
going to be a
Jen.
pro organization. And not only is the WRC organization going to cater to all of the upcoming pros outside
I
of
can't
Japan,
hear the audio, so
it's also going to be really linked with and partnered with JPML, so that means I get to help.
My name is Danny Marino from the Japan Professional
Right, but
Mahjong
Jen
League.
is at the M League fan zone thing, so that was a really nice sort of. We got lucky there.
日本プロ麻雀連盟のデパニカゴミです。So what does it mean?
Yeah, Jen has got a good recollection.
My life is basically Mahjong.
Yeah, he understands. He was looking really smart there.
元気を与えるというか、見ててワクワクするような存在かなと思います。
you always kind of like happen to be seen by someone
Very lucky
else
she
to
doesn't.
be
She's
able
in
to
my
answer
my
your
league for a
thoughts
while.
as a professional.
I want you to see where I am. I'm at the Exhibiting Kazan Giving Thanks Party where they invite all their fans
Yeah,
to
look at
come.
them.
And basically they say thank you for
I
supporting
mean, look
us.
at all those fans. People turning up
Fans are
just
coming for
to
one team. And not only that, it's spilling
just
over
to see Mahjong
outside of
players.
Japan.
It's crazy, right?
海外でもようやく、麻雀のプロが本格的に、スタートするということで、非常に
Yamai's looking very
私も
serious
楽し
here.
みにしてい
Very
ます。
serious.
Not only can you become a pro
He
without
wants to
even
beat you.
living in
He doesn't
Japan,
want you to win that
you
world
have
or
the
champion
same
title.
privileges as a pro in Japan as far as access to tournaments. There's going to be special events just for the WRC professionals. There's going to be special
We
study
should have
sessions
pro
with the top
jackets. I did
Japan
start looking at
pros.
varsity
And not
jackets,
only
but
is
I didn't get
JPL
anything good.
on
But we
board
should
with
keep
this,
that.
other
Keep
pro
that one.
organizations are also going to welcome you into their tournaments.
I think like many people, as a my professional,
Yeah, what's
they want
stopping
to be
us?
beaten by someone. If you just want to win,
I think she's tough.
like in a game, you can go to any like chance or without
Look,
place.
Jen,
What a
the
jack.
more
Yeah.
awesome videos you make us,
But
the
if
more
you
we will
want to
play
be
them.
Yeah,
beaten by someone
don't
very
stop
strong,
making
then
videos,
you
Jen.
have to
Oh no, what a
become
terrible
professional.
trick.
A Mahjong Pro means that you are prepared to grind and grind your way to the top.
The problem with Jen's hats, though, is that always American football. Always. Whereas she really needs a WRC Pro hat.
It's true.
Yeah, make a WRC Pro hat.
なんか競技麻雀が大好きなの
They
で
can be
大
Seahawks
会に出
colours,
て
but
真剣勝負できるっていうのが自分の中でとても大きい
Venue
で
is
す。
this at?
I guess
We
the
have
biggest
to ask
difference is
Jen.
just like, you know,
You
how
jealous,
much
Dave?
extra
No,
lot
I'm
of
just
pressure
realized I'd never
on
been there.
just
I'm not
each and
familiar with
every
the venue.
single instance that you play, which in itself is kind of fun.
Who knows? Maybe next year you'll be here with me at the next Emily team rap party.
it's funny, like when I was a kid, like we used to get the piece of the hat and do this and roll them, because that was the cool thing back then, to have it like a massive like semicircle like this.
And think about what you think it means to you
That's why my
to be a
engagement rings
professional Mahjong player.
I can't wait to see you at the professional table.
真剣勝負しましょう。
Okay,
よろしくお願いします。
No, it's
楽しみにしてます。
make it yourself. Pressure will turn this to a diamond.
I hope you will take
You don't
the
need me to
pro test. I
buy you
hope that we can play together in pro tournaments and
My
take
word.
our reach Mahjong to a whole new level.
新しい
Oh, it's a
WRC プロ
different
と対
type,
戦
is
す
it?
る
No,
の
I
を
didn't
楽しみ
realise
にしてい
that.
ます
Okay.
Can't wait to play
Garth?
the new WRC pros. Bring it on.
Watch out for that guy.
I sent this to Jamie, and Garth, Jamie was like, how did Garth end up looking like a second-hand car salesman?
Because he's standing in front of like a dealership.
WRC の
He's
プロの
like,
皆さんと対戦
We
でき
got
るのを
great
楽しみにしてま
financing.
す。
新しい WRC プロと対戦できるのを楽しみにしてます。
新しい WRC プロとの対戦
I mean,
楽しみにして
Satokuma's
ます。
obviously a legend, as are both Nikaidos.
yeah, yeah.
Let's go up again.
This Garth. Garth squat.
He's doing very well to keep that
And
position.
I can't
though.
wait
Do you
to
not
be
think? I'm
Yeah,
sure I could
yeah.
hold a
our
squat that
first
long.
WRC pros to the world.
Yeah, it's actually challenging.
Yeah, still.
We did it.
Yay! Well
Congratulations.
done. Thank you, Jen, for making the
Thank
video.
you for making the video. It's a really great introduction. I'm gonna say, out of all those people, like Garth is the one I'll make fun of because the rest of them I like. No, I like Garth. Garth is great.
I like Garth. But yeah, it's just
See,
like-
now I think she's
I just had a feel like Jen was bugging him to just make that little recording for like days, probably. And he was in like multiple mahjong parlors where he could have recorded with like a decent background, but then he finally picked up Jen's messenger. Oh, I better do that now because I'm already 5 hours late, and just did it in the middle of the road. That's our Garth. Anyway, hope everyone signed up to our mailing list. Dave's got to go because he's got. Oh, I can't hear you anymore, Dave. If you're talking.
No, I'm
okay.
I'm responding to something really quick because we're starting to
Yeah.
get people asking about our meetup today.
Yeah, Dave's got to go because he's got his mahjong meetup.
Yeah,
hope-
learn and play meetup.
answer
in an
some
hour,
questions.
So I'm gonna
I
have to
hope-
hustle over there.
I hope I made you feel like we want you in our pro group. So please
We
do sign up to the
We
mailing
for
list.
sure do, especially our viewers. We want our viewers
Yeah.
especially. But yeah, I hope we've been able to answer a few questions. Again, I'm going to be writing up a video and then getting everything I say approved by Gemma, so I don't say crazy things that are false. And so I'll have a bit more detail to put out. But this is a bbig first step. We should probably have some kind of larger information session for North America, just to be like, hey, everyone wants to know stuff. We can sit down and answer all your questions and do something a bit broadly. I'm gonna suggest that. I'm gonna pitch that. I'm gonna say it would do us well to
do us well.
Do us well.
That's it's such a weird American thing to say.
Do us well.
Do us well. It's like old English. Do us well. It would do us well to continue our journey west. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. And thank you. We talked for 2 hours on our nonsense. We were gonna go over Recce's.
I hurled my things to the ground. I'm sorry. A stock pitch. Yeah, pitch deck.
Yeah.
That's true. We should get
Need
that.
A Slido.
A Slido. Very work oriented.
Yeah. That thing I should be doing, but I was doing this instead. So, I remember you work. Hi.
What are they supposed to?
Someone should post a link for the
It's what World
Become-a-Pro.
Team League, right?
Oh, the Team League. Okay, 1 minute.
No, I'm sorry. That's the team. That's the first link.
The Become a Pro is that one. Like, if you go to WRC.org, it's a big red button in the right. You can't miss it. You might miss the online Team League information because that's in a menu. So that's the Team League information. So the Team League, I'll just finish that bit up. We need to have you registered by the 1st of July. So you've got a month to find 3 other friends who want to do it with you. It does look a bit dear because it's €100, but that does cover you for 4 months and includes a Run ID. If you already have a paid Run subscription, we will take off €20 or $25 from the cost of the event, but you will have to make sure that you have maintained your subscription for the entirety of the event. Otherwise, you will be disqualified along with your team. But it's going to be a good Team League event. There's some great teams in there. Lots and lots of professionals are really hyped for this because I said it's a great time of the day for them, apparently. They'll have their family chicky in one hand as they
fade this in. This is the actual URL we can broadcast.
Oh, look.
WorldReach.com/become-a-pro is where you can go to sign up for the mailing list to get information when we start to deliver classes and tests if you want to be a part of it, and we'd love to welcome you. And again, even if you're like, I'm not sure if I'm at pro level, do sign up because we'll have things for you to help.
It's not a commitment. It's not a commitment to receive an email.
And yes, you're not committed, so learn more because there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening. So now I have to do the really exciting thing of being on time for my commitments to go over to Sparrow's Nest.
It's quite unusual.
So hopefully, if any of you are coming by, we'd love to see you in a little bit. If anyone wants to grab a quick flight from Europe, that'd also be great. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we super appreciate you. And we'll be back probably next week, actually. Should be back on more regular schedule.
Oh, really?
Because I don't have a league thing. We have to see when we're scheduling things. But I'm
okay. All right. Okay.
Be back
Next week then, guys.
All right. See you later.
Speak soon. Bye.
Bye for now.